don't blue, I got brand new shoe, I got old town, but no place to go. Breakdown blue, I got brand new shoe, I got old town, but no. One. Hey everybody, welcome to RideMSTA. This is episode 5, and we got a special one for you because we've got a couple of guys live from Canaan Valley Rally today. So, intros. RJ and Jerry, say hi from Canaan Valley.
Hey everybody, you should be here.
We wish we were. Just FYI. Say hi, Tom.
Hello, everyone. And if y'all are watching this on YouTube and you're looking at RJ and Jerry, so Jerry is the dark silhouette to the left, and RJ is the dark silhouette to the right.
And if we split, you get a look at that view.
There you go.
So, just FYI, everybody, if you're watching the video, that's not actually RJ and Jerry. That's their shadow puppets. They're busy riding those roads that you see in the mountains.
Hey, so Patrick just came over 126 people for this rally.
Oh, man.
Wow.
That's awesome for you.
Well, we have got to get out to some of these rallies. People, this is what the MSTA is about. It's getting together, having fun, going to the rallies, doing some riding, and having some beers afterwards. Accent on afterwards if there's some bar and shield tips out there. So, first thing we're going to go through real quick before we get into our live from discussion here. A couple events coming up. July 11th, Big Lynn Lodge Rally over in Little Switzerland, North Carolina. There's the Sky High Tour on July 12th. That's Idaho Springs, Colorado. And August 2nd, we got the River City Ride coming up in, I'm going to massacre this name, Corydon, Indiana. So, someplace in Indiana, there's a really cool River City Ride.
So I'll be at Big Lynn Lodge. I don't think any of you three are making Big Lynn. Is that correct?
At the way the rain is going, I'm going to need a boat to make it out of my driveway.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make it.
Long range forecast looked dry, which is a nice change from last year. It was a slogfest last year.
Oh, it is done.
But sorry, Rob. Go ahead. Oh. Go on further. I was just letting folks know I'll be there at least. So I'll represent the podcast.
Eventually, one of these days, I'll be able to make it out of my yard with my bike, and I won't need flotation devices to do so. One more thing. Star Rally this year, October 19th to 24th in Kerrville, Texas. The raffle ticket mailings went out. Everybody should have them. So we got some cool prizes for the raffles this year with the GSX 8S for the bike raffle. Nomar's donated one of their bike lifts. I've seen the videos and stuff on that bike lift. That thing is sweet. So that would be a really cool one. And I think they were doing a helmet for, that wasn't for Star, was it?
Oh, it's for the mail pouch or flyaway.
Oh,
the helmet is on its way over to make a guest appearance.
Oh.
Check this out, everybody. It's got everybody's signature on it. Unfortunately, I'm going to win it, but we would ask that you do the raffle. But check that out. There's 13 signatures of MotoGP riders on there.
That is awesome.
And you can get those tickets. You can do it online, or you can. You should have been sent something in the mail about this too if you're an MSTA member. Pretty cool.
And Mark Marquez didn't even crash with it on.
See, now I think that would actually add value. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that stuff. Get out to some rallies, come hang out with us. Get out to some local rides. I'm one of the ones that keeps saying the local rides and the regional events, that's where it's at. Canaan Valley is obviously a regional event for that area. Brought in a lot of people to some beautiful territory. That's what MSTA is about. It's the friendship, the fellowship, and the rides. So, that being said, speaking of all of the fellowship and friendship, RJ and Jerry, how's it going from Canaan Valley this weekend?
So far, so good. Beautiful roads down here. The facility is great. Other than our little issues that we had with a bike with my wife's bike, everything's been going well so far.
That's
And
because
for those that may
carburetors are the devil.
They
For those
are.
that may not know, explain where Canaan Valley is. Where are you in your geographical location?
We're about an hour from nowhere.
That narrows it down. Yeah.
It's by Davis, West Virginia. That's the closest big city,
Yeah.
I guess. I tell you what, for one thing, if you haven't ridden here, the riding is amazing. This morning we did 250 miles. I was praying for a straight road every once in a while so my wrist could take a break. It was, the riding's good. The weather, 84, 85 was about the highest we saw today. There's 130 some people here from all walks of life. This is a dual meet, so there's MSTA members and BMW RA members here. It's so cool. Last night sitting, I was RJ and talking to Kerrie out in the parking lot. There's 50 people out there kicking tires and everybody riding. And like I said, we've got just so many cool things. There's a lounge, everybody eating breakfast together. And then it's kind of funny if you come to an MSTA rally or with the BMW RA, don't expect to have a bunch of people hanging out during the day. So about 9 o'clock, this parking lot was empty and everybody was out riding. So if you haven't made an MSTA event, you guys should really try this. This event's fabulous too.
And it's in the Alleghenies of West Virginia. It just up and down. I think the highest elevation I saw today was a little over 3,000 feet. And you're just
So usually rallies are wrapping up on Sundays, and that's when everybody starts traveling home. What's the schedule there that you guys are still there Sunday afternoon?
It's Saturday through Wednesday. Wednesday, everybody's leaving.
So there was people here. They showed up Thursday. I rode all the way from Arkansas, so I 1,115 miles to get here. And when I got here, I rolled in on Saturday. And then we have an event on Tuesday nights at dinner, right? Tuesday night, 6 o'clock to dinner. And then Wednesday, everybody will start heading home and everything. And so what's cool about it, there's a lot of people that just come for a couple days. So you can kind of pick and choose the days you want to come. If you're fortunate enough where you come the whole week, I would recommend you come the whole week. But if you can just come for the weekend, it's well worth the weekend as well.
Well, I know we've gotten some pop-ins from a few of the other members too. Jerry actually is going to be doing a 5-question with Jerry after the podcast. So for anybody that's out there that he catches, he's going to put a video together for us. I'll strip the audio off of it, put it up on the podcast feed for anybody that wants to listen to it later. But I know Jerry's got some places he's going to post the full video as well. So where do you want to shout out where you're going to post the full video to, Jerry?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to shout out where you're going to post the full video of the 5 questions with Jerry afterwards?
Yeah, so I'll post it on the Facebook page. I'll post a link to my we have a podcast that my wife and I do. But we'll have it on the MSTA site that Rob does, so you guys can all know you'll be in one place to go. And then if you do want to see it on our channel, I'll have a link for that too. But we really want to promote Rob and the MSTA part of this, so it'll be on Rob's channel for the most part. So.
All right, we'll get it. We just want to make sure everybody can hear it, see it, whatever they want to do. So, I'm sure it's going to be quite interesting because Jerry's a character.
You gotta watch out for that dude.
He's sketchy in all the best ways. So, since you guys are out there, what's been your favorite part about the rally so far? Other than the beer.
Getting to meet RJ.
Yeah.
I got to see RJ in person.
Oh, this is the first time you guys have met?
No.
We briefly met when we had Star out here a couple of years ago. We were both camping down in the campground.
So one thing I will say is his wife's still much nicer than he is. But,
That's the case for most of us.
But, one of the things, guys, for this whole rally, the whole thing is getting to meet right? So RJ, we see each other once a year. You know, you get to see people that you don't see on a regular basis. You get to ride the best roads in the country, but to be honest with you, it's all about the people. It's all about the relationships. It's all about getting to see people, getting to meet people, getting to ride with people. But man, the best part's at night when you're just kicking tires and you're getting to know each other. And where else would you cross paths with such a diversified group, right? And
I'm not one for doing big group rides with groups of people, and I love the way the rallies are set up that I can just go off on my own and then come back at the end of the day and have a couple beers with like-minded people, talk bikes, talk our ride for the day, and enjoy each other's company.
So that's always been my favorite part about the way MSTA does their rallies. It's not one big group that goes out. It's, you know, you might have 5 or 6 people riding together here, or 5 or 6 people riding together there, and we try to do a good job of, you know, for people who aren't sure where they would fit in or they're not familiar with anything, trying to get them introduced to some people that might ride in a similar fashion. But it's not a giant club of one.
One of the cool things about these events, folks, is when you get here, if you don't have somebody to ride with and you want to ride with somebody, you just fill out a little piece of paper. I'm leading a ride tomorrow. 5 people I've never met in my life, but they signed up. They want to go for a ride. I get to meet 5 new people. We'll go for a little fun, have some lunch. So don't be afraid to attend these rallies if you don't know anyone. We're going to talk to you. Trust us. You know, we get tired of talking to each other, so we're going to talk to someone.
Yeah, the first event I ever went to for MSTA, I knew 1 or 2 people from another website that they got there after I did. And that's how it was. I pulled up. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for this event. Oh, hey, welcome. You know, hey, this is this person. This is that person. 10 minutes later, it's like we knew each other for years. And it's stayed that way ever since. And I've never had that feeling before in any other event. You know, like I've done racing events, all that, and I've never had that feeling anywhere else.
That got quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah. I thought RJ was going to say something.
Nope.
So Tom, how come you didn't come here, Tom? We're waiting for you.
Schedule. I have a wedding going on this week, so that's a reason why. Last minute activities, all gearing up towards a wedding next Saturday.
Oh boy. Basically, that's busy time.
Yep. So this is my son's wedding. So yeah, there's just he's doing actually in about an hour and a half. But yeah, lots of activity. So there was no travel. I did a short ride earlier in the week, and I'll talk about it. It got away for a couple of days last week. Just went up to the North Carolina mountains.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna get into that because I want to hear your feedback on that. But since we got RJ's attention now, speaking of riding, RJ,
Rob,
you went out and rode some bikes. What's up?
Hey, Rob.
What's up?
Hey, I've got a guy here he wants to look at the live stream. So where can he find the live stream? Tell us where we can find the live stream.
It is on youtube.com/WiscoMoto. There's also a link posted in the MSTA page. So if you go to the MSTA Facebook page, you could just click the link. It'll take him right to this exact podcast right now.
Yeah. So we got a lot of people interested. They want to know they want to see our beautiful mugs. No, that's not what they're here for.
Yep. The live link is posted on the MSTA Facebook page, and just click it and it drops you right into it.
All right. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Tell us about those bikes you've been buying, RJ.
So I got to spend about 3 hours on a Moto Guzzi V100 Mandello S. Real interesting bike. It has a wing adaptive arrow on it that as you get up to speed it actually creates a blade of air around your body to keep the wind off of you and the rain off of you, but then goes back down when you're riding in slower traffic, so you can actually get airflow on yourself as well. So kind of an interesting setup. Only thing I really didn't like about the bike is the quick shifter. I'm pretty sure I'm smoother doing clutchless shifts on my Tiger that doesn't have a quick shifter than I am with the quick shifter on the bike. So, I mean, it still definitely has, it's a lot more refined than what I believe the other Gucci's were in the past, with it being water cooled and all, but it still has character. It's not a completely refined, everything works smoothly bike. It definitely has character, a lot of real good low end torque. Didn't really matter what gear you're in, it would just lug itself out of the turns, and it was a fantastic bike.
Hey, sorry. So there's a guy here on what's the Italian Air Force One that's here?
It's the same bike, but it's they did a special.
Yeah, so it's a Modelo, but it's called Aviation something. It's a special edition. I have pictures of it. I'll post on the Facebook page. But it's a very pretty motorcycle.
Yeah, a gorgeous bike. I mean, fantastic. It was a great ride. Then on the other side, I rode a GSX 1000 GX. That will probably be one of my next bikes. It was the Gen 5 GSXR 1000 motor that's been kind of retuned for more adventure touring kind of setup. Quick shifter was smooth, the bike was smooth, the cruise control was nice, the windscreen hit me perfectly, that it was just putting air just over the top of my helmet, that I wasn't buffeting. Real smooth, handled fantastic, the brakes were good, and it had the adaptive suspension. It just seemed like it perfectly set itself up for my ride. I wish I got to spend a little bit more time on that one than I did the Guzzi, but I mean, that bike is absolutely fantastic.
If anybody isn't familiar with that, Suzuki basically developed that in the same vein as like your Yamaha Tracer, your BMW S1000 XR. This thing is, as far as I can see, is aimed straight at the Tracer.
And
it's hard to beat that K5 GSXR motor. That thing is such a workhorse.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it looks cool too. I think it looks cool.
Yeah,
too.
it's a good looking bike. And Kerrie's making her way in because while I was riding that, she actually rode the bike that we're raffling off at Star.
Well, while we're waiting for Kerrie to come in so she can tell us about the GSX 8S, I got to ask you guys a question because this kind of popped in my head during the Mondello review. The quick shifters, is that a make or break for you guys on bikes these days?
I don't own a bike that has it. I'm actually more, to me, it's more of a slipper cut clutch I would rather have than even the quick shifter.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same with you. It's
now,
like
on the other hand, though, if I'm riding it on a track, I think I'd rather have the quick shift.
Now, I will say, like, if I'm jumping on a new Hayabusa, that quick shifter, it's money. Or any of the modern, like, full super sports or super bikes. Yeah, but, I mean, on our sport touring bikes, adventure touring bikes, we really need quick shifters.
I will say I've got it on my my Tiger 900, and I love it. I use the clutch to start and to second gear, and after that, I use the quick shifter exclusively up and down, and it's buttery smooth. It's surprisingly really nice and much better than any of the BMWs that I used to own with quick shifters, which were near useless.
Yeah, I went and demoed the new 1300, and I thought the quick shifter was bad on the 1250. Just as bad on the 1300. It's useless.
Yeah.
But I will give you one thing. You're kind of spoiled with that Triumph because about all the quick shifters I've used, I'm pretty sure they're one of, if
I hadn't used it much beforehand, but then with this bike slowly, I've just been using it more and more and really like it. And I've got to train myself when I get on the Bonneville that I don't have it on there. So got to go back to using the clutch again for all the shifts. But yeah, it's amazingly quick, both up and down. Really nice as you're coming into a curve to just click down on it, and it with no drama shifting down into a lower gear.
Yeah, I think my whole thing has been, though, it's like I've seen so many people write off purchasing a bike because, oh, I didn't like the quick shifter, or it doesn't come with a quick shifter. And I mean, it's stuff like it's adventure bikes or it's sport touring bikes, and I can't think of any of these bikes made where if I liked the bike, the lack of or a bad quick shifter would be a make or break sale for me. Because
if I was buying a bike just for the track, I think that would be, if I was spending that kind of money on a dedicated for like a leader bike that I was going to run, I think that would be a make or break there. But it isn't for me on a street bike, although it is very nice. I mean, I kind of put it up there with cruise control.
no, see,
Yeah,
I've got to the
on the
point where
Tiger, it was a pleasant bonus.
yeah, I'm getting to the point now where cruise control it's becoming a make or break for me.
I don't have a bike that has it, so
Yeah, it's that right wrist is getting a little old in its days, man.
So before we move off of it, I got a quick question for you, RJ.
Yes.
I've not ridden the Mandello, but I've sat on it in a dealership. How did you find the ergos on that bike?
So the lower half was perfect for me. Upper half, there was something with the bars that I would have needed to change, and I don't know what it was. I was getting a little bit of numbness in my right hand, and it's a me issue. I know there's certain bikes that I get like that. Usually I have to rotate the bars forward a hair, and it takes care of it. But that was my only problem with it. I found it completely comfortable. I mean, I sat on the bike, and then we immediately went on a group ride for an hour and a half. And there was the people leading the ride I don't think they pre-ran it from the dealership and found some bridges that were missing and made U-turns and stuff. I felt comfortable on that bike almost immediately.
Cool. Yeah, I just, from my experience sitting on it in the dealership, it felt, maybe I was just surprised. It felt physically smaller than I was expecting.
Yes,
and
I will say that.
Tight for me is the ergos. The bars were closer than I was expecting and a little more knee bend than I typically like.
And I typically like to have my knees bent more. So, okay. I mean, it was definitely on the sportier side for a sport touring bike. I noticed Stelvio, the pegs were much lower because there was a couple people that were on the ride. The way we got the longer ride, one of our local Gucci dealer got the demo trailer in a little bit early, and they normally run a Wednesday dinner ride once a month, and it's usually about an hour and a half ride back and forth. And they just said, "Hey, the truck's here early. Anyone want to take one of the demo bikes to dinner with you?" So we took it for a longer dinner ride, and like I said, it was super comfortable for me. Shout out to Blackman's Cycle and Emmaus for letting us ride them for an extended period of time. It was it was a cool opportunity. And
That's good, very good.
That Jerry has been replaced by someone much more attractive. This is my wife, Kerrie.
Hey, that's not true.
And
she is more attractive. I'm not replaced.
And while I was riding the GSX 1000, she had the GSX 8S. So give a little bit of what you thought of it.
All right. Well, I'm not as eloquent as RJ because I don't know the technical side of things nearly as well. I compare everything to how it feels or how it sounds and compare it back to the bikes that I ride regularly and am comfortable on. So I have a Thruxton 900 and I have a Duke 390. And I love the grunt of the Thruxton and the fact that it gives me more power where I want more power. But it's a heavy bike, not only the weight of it, but also the controls and things like that. Whereas the Duke is super light and super nimble, easy to balance. I'm a little taller on that one, so I'm a little more tippy-toed. And it doesn't have quite the grunt. So, you know, when you want to pull out from a stop or something, I have to wind it up a little higher to get going. And what I really liked about the Suzuki was it kind of married those two things really well. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. It had the power that I like, that I could get moving when I wanted to. Not that I'm a crazy fast rider by any means, but it felt good to be able to pull out and keep up with everybody else right off the bat. But it balanced really nicely. I liked that when I came to a stop, I didn't feel like I was trying to hold that weight or anything. It felt really good for somebody who was a little more tippy-toed at 5'5" on the bike. I could hold it really well. It felt super comfortable. And the controls were really light and easy to use. Nothing felt like it was a drain. Everything felt really comfortable. Everything was very smooth. What I liked about the engine, I had test driven previously, I think an MT-07, and it was so quiet and so smooth that it was kind of hard to get any feedback from the engine. And since I'm not super technical, I kind of count on that. Like, I want to know what the bike is doing to know if something's right or wrong. And you really got the sound and the feel out of the engine on the Suzuki a little bit more than you did on some of the other similar bikes. So I liked that feedback. I liked kind of knowing what the bike was doing at any given moment.
I think she may be the first person ever to call an MT-07 quiet. But then you realize all the buyers of the MT-07 pretty much yanked the factory muffler off of them immediately.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen, other than the demo bike, I've ever seen an MT-07 with the factory pipe on it.
Same.
Well, and I rode it on the Thruxton that day, so comparatively for me, it was a little quieter.
Oh yeah, but that Thruxton sounds good, so it's worth it.
Oh, it does, especially on these mountains. I can't wait to get it back out tomorrow.
Nice. Well, that GSX 8S, I know my wife was kind of peeking at them too, and I kind of went over and messed with one a little bit. I haven't got to demo ride it, but just sitting in the showroom with it and leaning it back and forth, yeah, you're right. That thing is extremely balanced. So
hey, and there's a very good way for her to acquire one.
Yeah.
She could win one in the raffle. And it's a good reminder to get on the website and buy your tickets.
I did put my name on all the tickets.
Shout out to Plano, BMW, Kawasaki, Suzuki, Moto Guzzi, and Aprilia for donating that money.
So when she wins it, she'll have to give us a long-term test review.
Yeah, and I don't know if Jerry's delivering it or.
Hey, if I get to ride it, I'll deliver it. Yeah.
Oh, you can do the break-in.
Right. I'll do the break-in mileage. Take it to him.
Wait a minute. All this is sounding like a win. Somebody else breaks it in. It's ready to go. See, this is how awesome this raffle will be, guys. You got to join it, or don't, because then she's got a better shot of winning. Well, cool to hear. I'm interested to see some more on that bike because Suzuki's doing a lot with that platform. So
yeah, and it seemed everyone that I saw that was or talked to that had ridden one really enjoyed it. I did a training on Thursday that it was an advanced rider course at Pocono Raceway that done through the Pennsylvania Motorcycle Safety Association, and they one of the guys in my group had the GSX 8R, and he absolutely loved it. He's had it for I guess 6 or 8 months now. He said he had 8,000 miles on it. It hasn't given him a problem, and it was quick around the track. And he said it was real easy to kind of get a feel for. It gave great feedback back to what the tires are doing. He really loved it.
yeah, that's where it's going to get real interesting with that. Now Yamaha coming out with the R9.
Yeah.
I mean, usually bikes like that get built to a price point, and it sounds like they're not necessarily doing that. So you're still getting good suspension, things like that.
Yeah.
So this could be a really
And,
interesting new class of bikes coming through with the sport bikes.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, speaking of good riding, Tom, you took a little bit of a trip and got to see some new pavement.
Yeah, so this was, my wife was heading out of town. And I decided, well, rather than sit at home, I'm just gonna head up to the mountains by myself for a couple of days. So but I live in just north of Atlanta, and decided that I've been watching. If y'all have seen the Tail of the Dragon, is about 3 hours from me if I did a straight shot. And it's recently gone through a repaving. So they just finished the repaving about a month ago, maybe 3-4 weeks. Yeah, 3-4 weeks, month. And I really wanted to go ride it because I hadn't. I stopped riding it last year because just the potholes in the pavement was just in such bad condition. So, yeah, even though it's 3 hours direct, maybe 2 hours, 2.5 to 3 direct from my house, I took 6 to get there. So took for those that look on the map, Tennessee 30, really nice. Went up into Tellico Plains, had lunch, and then went across to Charahala. This was all on a Thursday, so I had little to no traffic on the Charahala, and then made my way up to Tail of the Dragon, Deals Gap, and made a couple of runs on the Dragon back and forth. So late Thursday afternoon, virtually nobody on the road. Those couple cars that I came upon made the pullover. Pavement is gorgeous. It's very smooth, very black. There's 0 potholes. So, and it seemed sticky as I wanted it to be or needed it to be. So no issues whatsoever. So really, really nice. Now, that being said, one of the groups that I ride with, they just posted a something just a few days ago. I don't know which turn it was, but going into on the southbound lane, going into one of the curves, the pavement had gotten torn up. You know how the outside of a curve kind of looks like when a large truck is going around and kind of just skids up the pavement.
Yep.
Well, apparently that happened. So, and he stopped his bike and he went over and videotaped it, and he was able to lift up and if he wanted to pull up large chunks of the pavement.
Oh no.
So what they did to get this done, because they were contractually bound to be done, I think in like 30 or 35 days, they just top coated it. So it's basically 2.5 inches of blacktop laid over the old pavement. Nothing was skimmed down. It wasn't ground down or anything and repaved. So this was a quick top coat. And my fear after seeing what he showed, now hopefully they'll come back and repave that one section, fix it, but that it's going to get torn up quickly, because even though there's signs everywhere, large trucks and semis, it's illegal for a semi to drive on that road.
Yep.
But anything over 40 foot is illegal, but they still do it, and they tear up the road apparently.
Yeah,
So-
I know
So,
one of the big issues with the semi tractors is their back bumper, because of the dips and the way the pavement turns. Their back bumper will catch and drag, and it literally just chunks up pavement.
Yeah, the bad part is they shouldn't even be on the road. There's signs on the road to not even go on it, but GPS is running through there. But update, so I'm heading there after this rally. I'm heading to Deals Gap because I want to do the clean pavement. And I saw on their DOT site that they're actually already fixing that patch, and it should be fixed by Monday on that section of the road.
Okay.
And they're going through, that's on their DOT site. So, and I'll give a little report next week because, like I said, I'll be going through there. It's good to know you went through on a Thursday, Tom, because I'll be going through on a Thursday as well. So,
Yeah, they typically call that delamination.
Yeah.
The road surface.
Like I said,
Here.
Oh, did we lose Tom?
Mm,
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Would you say delamination?
yeah, they call that delamination when they put that second layer on. It doesn't adhere to the bottom, so it's almost like if you were to paint over a metal that you didn't do prep work on, and the paint just flakes off of it because it doesn't actually bond to
Yep.
the surface below. And one of the things I saw said that in the rush they didn't use something called tack oil between the two surfaces. They usually go spray a coating of oil down before they put the pavement down, and it should help adhere the two together. And know that didn't see that being done when they were doing it. So that might be part of the problem as well.
Yeah. So I'd say advice is if you can get there as soon as possible before it starts getting torn up again and becomes a patchwork. So,
Oh,
yeah, Jerry, you'll have to, next time, tell us how it goes with your run on it. But during the week, it's much better than on the weekends. Although I always find Deals Gap entertaining. I mean, if you want just fun entertainment, go sit there, have a sandwich, have a Coke, and just watch the show go on of the different types of riders and bikes coming and going.
Jamie and I call it watching the wildlife. It's awesome.
Yep. Oh, the real tell is going to be after about the first year. What does it look like coming into next season?
Yeah, especially after a winter of frost heaves up there. I can tell you, riding on Cherry Hollow pavement was fantastic. That was great. I mean, and I did not see a single car in my direction the whole way across.
Nice.
And for those that may not know, the Cherry is a road that connects Tellico Plains, Tennessee, and Robbinsville, North Carolina. There are no side streets. There's no exits. 43 miles of just great twisty pavement up and over a mountain. It was great because late Thursday afternoon temperature up there was about 68 degrees on top of the mountain.
I've always said, go out, find an early day in the week, ride the dragon, say you did it, because it's worth doing it at least once or twice, and then spend the entire rest of your time there on all of the other roads. Chirahola is gorgeous. You got Back of the Dragon. I mean, run up past Fontana Dam.
Road.
Yeah.
There's a number of roads that are east of there, back and forth off of 64, 215, 271, 281, Charlie Creek Road. That is fantastic. Last time I was up in the area, I found this great road. It was Highway, I think it was 32 outside of Gatlinburg. And the way I always described this road was that what the dragon is to the Cherry, this road was to the dragon. It was just 20 miles of nonstop switchbacks. There wasn't a straight point in the whole road. And then you crest over a hill and it turns to gravel for about the last 2 or 3 miles.
Oh.
It was a fantastic road, though.
If you're going that way, make sure you're on an adventure bike.
Foothills Parkway also.
Yeah, Foothills is freshly repaved. It's beautiful.
Awesome.
I would definitely say the Skyway.
Just for a nice scenic, gentle ride.
The Skyway to me, I enjoyed much more than the Dragon, especially on a bigger sport touring bike. That it just flows really nice. Versus if I was running the Dragon, I think my ideal bike for that would be either like a Grom or a Supermoto, just because it's so tight and technical.
Oh, running the Dragon, a Supermoto would be amazing.
Yeah, every time I get a new bike, I take it up there and ride on it. So I have to take the Bonneville up. I haven't taken that one up yet, and ride that. That'll just be fun to do. But I like it. I like tight technical roads, but it's a little too busy. There's a lot of other stuff up in that area. That's really nice. And I even did Wire Road back and forth a couple of times, which is a great road connecting Robbinsville and Franklin, North Carolina.
Awesome.
So that's my little two-day trip to the mountains.
Well, yeah, everybody, get out there, check out the Dragon before the new pavement turns into worse than the old pavement, because it happens. And thanks for the update on the ride report out there. And we got one more thing to go over quick before we dip out of here. I'm actually trying to find the link that I had pulled up that my lovely Facebook page decided it wanted to just refresh and lose for me. How many of you guys are familiar with the Iron Butt Rally?
Yep.
Everybody, right?
Yeah.
I think
Heard the news.
chasing around in our group, everybody should at least know of the Iron Butt Rally or the Iron Butt Association. It's an endurance riding group. The Iron Butt Rally is their big every other year nationwide scavenger hunt. It's their competition. It's always at 11 days, 11,000 miles. Most of those riders, they'll put in a lot more than 11,000 miles. And it's their competition. That's their Stanley Cup for what they do. And this event's been running since, I want to say it was 1981 was the first year for it. And it's a well-run event. It is very safety conscious, always has been. They've never had any major issues as far as a group. Yes, people crash every year. These are basically 1,000+ mile days for 11 days straight. So people have hit deer. They've made bad decisions. They've got caught in bad weather and crashed. But it's always very rider specific. This year, they've been insured by the AMA pretty much since the get-go as an event. The AMA has decided they can no longer qualify what they do because they can't decide how to insure this, or at least the AMA's insurance company won't. So they've decided they can no longer insure this event, which at this point in time has basically shut this event down. I know Rally Mom, Lisa Landry, her and Jeff are officially done. Jeff was the rally master. He was the guy that was the route master. He was doing all the routing. He was doing all the bonus point locations, things like that. And Lisa basically was mom. Like, she was the one that had the emergency book. She was the one that kept track of all the riders. This woman would come in the day before and wouldn't sleep again until the rally was over. She was on it the whole time. But yeah, as of right now, they are trying to find ways to bring a similar event back around. But the Iron Butt Rally as a competitive event at this point is basically done. Which you're talking 40 years of history here, all because an insurance company can't figure out how to do basic umbrella liability policy for an event. And it's really sad.
I think that's going to starting to become a general theme with a lot of events, especially things that are especially technical like that. I mean, look at I think it was last year, the Irish road racing series is they basically they almost canceled everything, including possibly the Isle of Man, because of not being able to find insurance coverage.
Right.
And I think as society gets more litigious, it's going to be harder and harder to run these events.
Well,
insurance for them.
I've talked to a few people about this, and one of the things that keeps popping up right now is, believe it or not, insurance companies are profit minded. Who would have guessed? And what they're doing is they're shutting off a lot of these events that they see as a high possibility for a liability case because of litigious people. And they, something like the Iron Butt Rally, it's not at a sanction. It's basically what they were trying to say is you're using the entire nation as your racetrack. Well, it's not a race. It's never been a race. You get penalized and disqualified if you are speeding heavily. So it's a scavenger hunt. But
Yeah, and it's not really a huge group of people. My understanding is that one, it's held every 2 years,
yeah,
and there's what, 120 people that participate?
about
We have to qualify. Yeah.
yeah. There's a qualification process plus there's a lottery system for qualified riders, and they limit the riders. I think right now it was 115 because they know several of them by the time they get to rally time are going to have to back out, so they try to keep it at around 100 riders. And everybody's on their own. They have to make their own routes, do their own plans. They're not even actually allowed help. So it's not the only real competition in this. I mean, yeah, you've got other riders you're trying to get more points than, but your real competition in this whole thing is with yourself. And it's your routing, it's your planning, it's not your speed. It's never been about speed, which is why they've never had an issue in the past. They've never had a liability claim, and now just, oh, well, we can't figure out what you are, so no. Which makes me worried for events like ours, because we need, as our events get bigger, we do need some kind of a liability umbrella policy. But we're not setting up curated rides. We're not doing any of that. Because I know some of the big bike events are starting to get this now too, where they won't insure them. They're doing big mob rides and things like that, which we don't do. But do we get grouped up in with them too?
Yeah, I mean, how does the distinguished gentleman's ride still function then? That is a planned ride. I mean, it happens once a year, but
yeah,
there's sometimes 100. I just heard, what is it? Like LA was over 500 riders. You know, some cities is very small, but some can be quite large.
Yeah, see, I would love to interview those guys and find out what they're doing, because I could imagine that they would be in a similar bucket or a similar boat where they're going to be fighting for insurance too.
I think that, and I think looking at things from a risk mitigation standpoint too, I mean, there is more of a risk with something like the Iron Butt, where you're having people ride in a sleep deprived state for the most part over large distances, and it kind of falls under, like, I know you're a truck driver, Rob, with having like the log books and trying to mitigate that risk of having people drowsy on the road doing a highly dangerous activity.
True. The biggest thing too is, though, the insurance companies weren't worried about the riders themselves, because the riders are self-insured. That's part of being a participant in the Iron Butt Rally. You have to carry your own policy. You have to have certain levels of liability coverage and things like that. And it's very much made known you're on your own. So, but the general public, say one of the Iron Butt riders crashes into somebody else, does significant damage, and the insurance company could technically come back and sue the Iron Butt Association for damages on top of the rider who caused the accident. It's never been a case in 40 years of this rally running, but that's, I think, the standpoint they were taking, and they can't quantify it as an event because now they're still trying to categorize it as a competitive, like a race, but it's not. And
yeah, I mean, it's a competitive rally, or as you say, scavenger hunt type thing. But so you're the first I heard about the insurance thing, but you're the first time I heard about that. Was it a sanctioned AMA event, and did they have any part in pulling out of this, or not wanting to participate or even be associated to it anymore?
So the AMA specifically wasn't backing out. It's not actually sanctioned by the AMA. It's basically backed by the AMAs as far as the insurance went, because the AMA has always carried the policy through their insurance company for the IBA. The AMA did not back out. They actually were, as far as I understand, trying to help Mike Kneebone and the team find an alternate, because they understand what it is. It's the insurance provider, the underwriter themselves, that backed out and said, no, we're not insuring this anymore. Despite never having, and they've had the same coverage, never had a claim on it. So,
Okay.
but I'm seeing this going more and more with a lot of other events too. So, more specifically in the competitive scene, I know actually over here there's a couple of racing venues that are running into some insurance issues right now too. We've got a local dirt track that's actually going down, like they're shutting down because of insurance. So what does that mean for other events? I mean, do you guys think we're getting into a situation where we're going to start seeing more and more events going away over this?
No, this isn't a new problem. It's just it pops up. You know, BMW MOA had that issue for a while because they were worried about how to insure their events, and it's the problem is with the iron butt thing. I feel is because of the time constraints and that there have been issues in the past of people falling asleep and people doing that's you know, as a risk manager for an insurance company that knows nothing about the event, they're just taking data, right? They're going, well, you have this many accidents. Your whole event is based on doing something over an extended period of time, which isn't normal. So why should we insure it? What's, you know, what do we get for it? You know, and because insurance companies are businesses that make money, so they're either going to charge so much money that the event can't afford the insurance, or they're just going to drop it. And it's a shame because it's caused by people who just want to sue everybody, right? And that's the society we're in nowadays, and that it hurts everybody, right? It hurts all of us.
Yeah. Hey guys, Tom's got to drop out quick, so
Yeah.
let's say goodbye to Tom and.
Thank you all very much. Hey, you guys, RJ and Jerry, enjoy the rest of your riding week up there. And Rob, good show. We will talk to you guys again in a few weeks.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on, Tom.
It's good seeing you, Tom.
Thanks all. Bye now.
Yeah, that's then the question comes in is how do we quantify these events to all these insurance companies so we can continue to have them? Like,
I can't figure out how they're still able to insure Sturgis because, right. I mean, tens of people, more people die there than die at the Isle of Man every year.
Right. But rumor has it Sturgis might be affected by some of this stuff now too. Because I guess it's been the last year or two insurance companies have really started tightening down the belts over all the litigation. And I mean, they've been getting hit hard with storm. I mean, you can think about a lot of these underwriting companies. They're the ones paying for storm damage in some of these states that get hit by hurricanes. They're fire damage claims, and all of that affects their ultimate bottom line. So they're shoring up potential liabilities, and by potential liabilities, they're looking at stuff like the Iron Butt Rally, Sturgis.
Well, I mean, and how far does that end up going then? Because I mean, in general, in the United States, motorcycling is a more dangerous activity than driving a car. And is that eventually the end of motorcycling? If you can't get insurance for the vehicle or afford the insurance for the vehicles anymore, is that how they end up pricing people out of actually doing the activity? I know I recently sold a bike and for a similar level of insurance and it was a sport touring bike. The kid that I was paying less than $30 a year to insure it when he went to insure it, it was over $100 a month.
Yeah. Oh, I can tell you, you're hitting on something right there too, because I know our insurance went up on our bikes for the first time in probably 15 years this year, and ours didn't go up by much. It was like a 10% increase, but I mean, I'm seeing insurance quotes on some of the forums where they're astronomical. People are paying $200-300 a month for insurance on some of these bikes.
And that $100, he wasn't insuring it for collision.
Oh wow.
It was liability only.
Yeah, I know the craziest one I've seen so far is one of the guys. So I'm in a new motorcycle riders page because I'm a rider coach. Well, this kid, 19 years old, posted up his insurance company quote through Progressive for a brand new S1000RR, and it was $32,000 for the year.
Well, I mean, I guess if that might be if the dealer can't help the kid make a good decision on probably not buying that bike at that age.
Yeah, I mean,
the insurance company's going to do it for him.
I'm with you, and I've seen some crazy quotes. Like a couple years ago, we had a kid bought a brand new S1000RR, same bike, right out of class, and his insurance was $6,600 a year, and I thought that was nuts.
Unfortunately, I don't think that this is going to improve or change anything, though, because at least I know, general speaking to some of our state troopers in leadership, that they estimated about a third of the riders or more in our state do not have licenses or permits.
Yeah, we're about the same up here.
If you're not permitted or licensed, you're probably not insured.
Yep.
And I mean, and the people are still riding or driving.
And that is a huge thing for the insurance companies too, because they're paying the other drivers. Insurance companies are taking losses on the stuff that these guys are doing. But I guess, how do we go forward and fix this problem to keep having events like this? Because I mean, Iron Butt Rally is a legacy event. And if this one goes with a safety record that it has, and other events start going, I mean, how do we fix that?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, do we pop the event up and cross our fingers and maybe talk to a lawyer and do some better wording in our event descriptions or something, so it absolves of liability?
Or does some organization like the AMA come up and actually start underwriting the policies themselves?
Yeah, I don't see the AMA doing that. They'd actually have to do something, and they don't do anything. So I'm sorry, guys. I have not been a fan of the AMA since about 2008. But yeah, if we could find some company or some event, or not event, but some organization like that to do it, I could see BMW MOA stepping up and doing some of their own. I mean, they're getting big enough, and they've got the backing of BMW Motorrad Factory. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe the manufacturers all step in and do their own insurances. You know, offer it up. We'll insure you guys. Pay us this.
And then it still comes to the point of they're having to accept some liability for it, and the larger the company you are, the more liability cautious you are.
True.
So it just, I mean, that whole point of insurance is to push that liability off on somebody else.
Right.
They're betting that nothing happens. You're betting something's going to happen. And
well, and that's, Jerry was actually he was having a conversation pre-show. He brought up a really good point. Sole proprietors and LLCs max out at $1 million for a liability claim. So,
Hey, so Kelly just came up from the rally, and she sent me she gave me a little handwritten note. She says, "Well, how did like Kyle Petty insure his ride? So he did that big motorcycle ride, and how does Jay Leno insure his big ride? You know, so those big guys are insuring their rides and getting them done. So I wonder how they're doing it, unless they're
self-insuring,
owning up the self-insurance. You know?
That could be. I mean, you could look at Jay Leno; he could afford it. And it's like you said earlier, they max out at a $1 million max for sole proprietors, personal individuals, and LLCs. Jay Leno could slap $1 million liability policy down like nothing. And I would bet you Petty could too. So they might not even be chasing insurance at all.
Yeah. And Petty's on the side too is also attached to a nonprofit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because that's all for Victory Junction camp.
See, I wonder if that's how the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride is going for that too, because they're attached to a nonprofit.
And who's going to sue a charity that's providing a camp for children with disabilities to actually like have time to be a kid? You're gonna look. No one's gonna want to take that PR hit and look like a dirtbag.
Yeah, and that would be the same thing with DGR too. And I think there's a little more protection under that nonprofit and 501c3 and stuff too, where it kind of protects them from the liability claims.
It's a conundrum.
It is a big conundrum. I don't want to see our rallies go away, man. Not that they are. The MSTA is good. We've got our stuff already locked down. We're fine. But this may become an issue in the future. Just saying. All right. Well, on that bummer of a note, I hope you guys are having a good time down there. Obviously sounds like you are. We're going to leave you guys with the final thoughts, and I actually want to challenge the audience more with this one than I want to challenge us, because I think we've all got some pretty good ideas, and I think, like right now, all three of us are currently now effectively sitting on the EC for MSTA. So we're kind of bringing these ideas up to them. What can we do to build more interest for new members in the MSTA? Get the younger guys in, get the next generation coming into this, and continuing what we've already built.
I think it's having more regional events and having more local events that more people can get involved in, and bringing it to them that a lot of people can't, especially younger people, can't travel as far because they don't have vacation time to do so. I definitely think that's a help.
Yeah, I think that, look, these events are great that like Canaan Valley, but the average young motorcycle rider who has a family at home and does some of this stuff, they can't take Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, right? So right. I think part of what we need to do is continue with some of the smaller events that are weekends, right? That are just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, go home Sunday. I think those are key. And then because those are the things that younger riders can find time that have families can do. But I also think that we need to get the word out there that, again, the cost of entry into motorcycling is more expensive than it was when we started riding, right? But we have to show a value to younger people on what we offer, right? So instead of the alternative of going to a bike night at Sonic and watching a bunch of guys stunt in the parking lot, we need to make sure we show them that there's a venue that they can go and meet new people, ride with people who are safety oriented, ride with people that want to go see things, but also ride spirited, right? We all have we ride a motorcycle for an adrenaline rush for the most part. But
IR hooligan.
Right. We got to make them understand that there is a group out there that's willing to take in new riders like that,
Yeah, and one of the things I've also been saying lately too is those local or those regional events are key, but a very good point you brought up, like the bike nights that you see. Our ride to food, or ride to ice cream, things like that. Those little pop-up day rides that we do that are just a few hours on a Saturday or a Sunday. Those are at this point mission critical, because it gets these guys over and in with us, and seeing, hey, yeah, we can have a great time, but we can do it without the police and the ambulance involved.
Yeah.
I've started to bring some of the guys in Wisconsin around to that too, from some of the sport bike groups. They get tired of watching everybody crash into each other or flying off the road and doing stupid things, and they come to a ride that we do in the sport touring crowd, and oh wow, we can have fun. We can be a little bit hooligan, but we're doing it safely. This is great. And then you meet people, and we don't care what bike you ride. So unlike places like, I'm going to throw them under the bus, Hog. You show up on a non-Harley to a Hog event. One, they're going to be crashing into each other, and two, they hate anything not Harley. We don't care. Show up on a Harley, show up on a sport touring bike, show up on an adventure bike, dual sport, show up on a scooter. I won't say
I've seen everything sitting out in the parking lot, from an Indian to an XR 1000 to a Beta 5 or 400.
And I'll even argue that's one of the cool parts about it, is you will
Absolutely.
see that.
Absolutely.
We're obviously bike agnostic type peoples. We like bike. It doesn't matter what it is, right?
Yeah. In fact, there was a Buddy 140 sitting out in the lot with a wicker basket on it.
Okay, you better take a picture and send that to me. I want to see that. That sounds cool.
So that's Brad Baxter's wife, Janice. And Brad rides a 300 CBR all the time.
Yeah.
And his wife rides that little scooter, and it's got the old Wizard of Oz nee basket on it. So.
Yep. Actually, Lou Laguna just posted in our chat. And I think him and I have talked about this before too. Advertising more ADV focus. He's not wrong at all on that, because there is a huge shift to ADV. That's one of the biggest growing segments in motorcycling. And let's be honest, most of the MSTA guys are ADV riders too.
Yeah.
We kind of blend.
Well, I mean, I would say if you go out in a lot, I mean, there's probably how many Versus?
Oh yeah, there's
or GSs or Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Sorry, I'm getting a ride together for tomorrow. So if you come to one of these events, you can fill out a piece of paper, and they kind of ask you if you want to ride with somebody and what kind of ride you want to do. And then people like myself who are glutton for punishment will get the group together, and we'll take new people out for riding. And that way I have a solid audience. They can't run from me for 2 hours.
Yeah. They're all stuck behind you. You're just going to take up the whole road?
Well, I'm very conservative when I ride.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement on where we should go. But I'd love to hear the audience feedback on this one. So if you're listening or you're watching, well, like Lou put it in our chat, but go find us after the show on the post that we put up for the link for the show. Put your answers in there. Let us know what you think. What can we do to make the club better in the future for you? That's why we're all here. So, on that note, I think these guys are ready to go have some more beers and have a good time at Canaan Valley. I will pronounce it right eventually. It's Canaan, right? Or
Canaan. It doesn't matter. It's a motorcycle event.
They're in West Virginia in really pretty mountains, having a bunch of fun on bikes and having beers afterwards.
It doesn't matter what it's called.
Exactly.
All right, everybody. On that note, we will see you next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.